Well, hey, 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 Facebook, and wherever else we go, we are so glad to be here. This is Tia Knapp, and this is my
I'm Dr.
wonderful.
Michael Gross. How are you? Good to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Lots of things to talk about, but I know TU is going to take some time and read the intro, so please do.
Alrighty, I'm going to read the intro, and then we're going to go ahead and get right to the topic, which is how interesting it's your life. Okay,
Yes.
so here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God the True Source, he has also achieved great success in miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God the True Source. Michael currently lives in Lakewood, Washington, and we're just going to go ahead and leave it right there because the rest of it he can share with you if he chooses to, okay? Take it away,
Um,
Michael.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. I know some of you watching this, if you're watching it now, as I call, you're probably well done instead of medium rare from the heat. But, you know, um, I guess it's one of those things of having the heat. It's great to see the sun because we know later on we'll have the change of seasons and we'll be lamenting that we miss all this beautiful warm weather. So thank you for joining us, everyone. And I thought tonight I would talk about It's Your Life. There was a television series many, many years ago said This Is Your Life. And I believe it was Ralph Edwards. Some of you may remember that. And he'd bring a guest on that was sitting in the audience and they talk about the wonderful things they've accomplished. And I'm using that as an introduction because I would like all of you, while I'm speaking with you, to think about your life. And in the very beginning, you're just a miracle. We're all a miracle. Just think, you got sperm and an egg, zygotes, and all of a sudden you got this beautiful little baby that's going through the birth canal. And even when you go through the birth canal, what begins to happen is that the mother's, uh, birth canal and the bones within that area turn into like jello. They're really soft and allow the child to go through. That's a miracle. But even more so when we talk about a miracle, this is your life. I would like all of you, while I'm talking, for you to reflect upon your life because everything in your life is a miracle. The breath you take, the clothes you wear, your family, your friends, your relatives. Now, some of us have sat there and say, oh, my mother, father, this, or I had a tough life, or whatever. And there's no doubt I can't disagree with you, whatever you're going through. And the pain that Tia went through that she wrote in a book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. My pain cannot compare, but in my feelings and emotions, it's similar. The depth of it was very deep for me, as it was to her, as it is for each one of you. But it's all our perspective. It's part of our perspective that I want to talk to you about is the miracle of life and everything you have experienced. Some of you have experienced living in different climates. Some of you have been in the military. Some of you may have had illnesses. Some of you may have had operations. Whatever has occurred, this is a life that you chose to experience. And, and one of my dear friends, and I've said this before, he said, Michael, what the hell do they spike our drinks with to make us incarnate? And that's a joke that we tell each other every time we get together for lunch to remind us. But look at the beautiful things in your life. Look what you accomplished. I don't care whether you're watching this and you're 8 years old, 5 years old, or 105 years old. Look at what you've done, what you've accomplished. And it truly is a miracle. And whatever age you are in life, I would like to address you because what all of us need to understand, what you're seeking is seeking you. And that's so important. And that's not a quote from the true source, but something I read from a person. And if I could remember the name, I'd give them credit. But whomever it was, and they're watching this, if they do, thank you for that wonderful quote. But stop for a moment and thinking. You have planned your life before you incarnated. Now I'm talking about the big story. Who you're going to marry, relationship, family, friends, and relatives. You sprain your ankle, stub your toe, even you broke your toe, your ankle. That's not in the big picture. Stuff happens, as we say. But time for us to reflect individually on our lives. And our lives, look at what you have really accomplished. What is your epitaph? I know some psychologists teach and say, well, if you were to birth out of your body right now, what would you write as your epitaph? And you would sit there and reflect, and I did this, or I did it, I should have, I shouldn't. You know, one of the beautiful songs, My Way, I did it my way, Frank Sinatra and others that have sang it. And truly, you have done your life your way. Now, granted, you run into some high grass, shall we say, then barbed wire, then high mountains, and you cried and you screamed. But most importantly, at this time in our life, it is time for us to look at our lives and see how marvelous and joyous it is. Even when you're in hot water, you're able to get out of hot water. Even when things were really down, somehow or another, you got through it. So, to every challenge in your life, there's always a solution. And that's one of the things I wish to bring up to all of you. This is your life, and you are the SOL, soul creator of your life. I should say SOLE, soul creator of your life, and SOUL. And I want you to understand that. What I desire for all of you to not only understand it, but you are a hero or heroine. You have overcome obstacles that were incredible. Some of you have been in foreign countries and you came here, didn't know anybody, and didn't speak English, and you learned the language. Some of you were challenged in school. Some of you had abusive relationships. Whatever it is, but you made it through it. And every day you learn something new. Every moment in your life, every series in your life, you learn something new. I delivered a oral message on Monday night, and it talked about the cycles of life. So some of you may have heard it or not, but I would encourage you to listen to it. But your cycles in life, and I'm just going to briefly touch it, are a number of years, like 5 year, 7 year, 8 year, 15 year, 12 year, whatever it is. Everybody's cycle is different. But remember, what your truth is today at 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 60, 70, your truth will change. Why does your truth change? Because in your cycle of life, you're learning everything over again, or new things coming into your life. You have a new perspective. You know, many years ago, they said nobody could break the 1 minute mile. And Roger Bannister ran and he broke the 1 minute mile. He was from England. And now people are even breaking his record. Why? Because of determination, because of will and desire. And you've forgotten that this will and desire is what got you to this point. Now, I will agree that you ran into some barbed wire and you have some challenges. But in my conversations with the true source, I said, what about failure? And true source said, there's no such thing as failure. You learn what worked and didn't work. You really didn't fail. You learned something new. And I said, gosh, you're right. I learned something new. Everything in your life, you're learning something new. Everything in your life is exciting. Yeah, I agree. You sit there, oh, not this again. New challenge again. Oh my gosh. But here's what's so amazing and so exciting for you. All your challenges in life that you've had, it made you the person that you are today. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, you've made mistakes. But really, you didn't really make a mistake. What you learned was worked and didn't work, didn't you? Same as there's no failure. So this is the point that I wish to share with all of you. That in your life, everything you created made you who you are, and what you are becoming. What you are becoming. As I said, at every 10-year intervals or 8 or 15 or 12, your truth changes. And now you're looking at your life right now, whatever age you are. And I want you to imagine for a moment that there's a blank canvas, that you are the artist, and you can paint or create anything you desire on that canvas. And, well, no, I can't. I'm a victim. I can't. And I always say, you won't, you won't, you won't. But just imagine there's a line say, everything's behind you. That's it. Time to create a new life. Oh, what would you do? How would you describe your new life? What would you desire this to be? In what direction do you desire this to be? And I'd like all of you to think about this. And the reason I want to share this about thinking about this, set aside money. Because everybody, I want more money, I want more money. You know what? You'll never have enough money because you always want more. Always want it, want it, want it, want it. But more importantly, on this canvas of your life, decide what makes your heart sing. What makes you feel joyous and happy? What is your goal from this point at whatever age you are until you birth out of your body? And remember, that's an acronym for when you die. You know, I have trouble saying the word die because I really don't like it. Birthing out means you're going into another experience. Let's go back to the thoughts that I was sharing with you. Therefore, think about what would be your perfect life from now on in. And then when you determine that, you add this caveat, this or something greater. Those who work with me know that's one of the familiar things that I say, this or something greater. And why would I say that? Because whatever your tunnel vision is at this point, you're going to change. You're going to go the tunnel vision, you're going to expand it, expand it, expand it, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it, expand it back and forth like an accordion. And that's the way it's supposed to be because you're refining your life. You're refining your life by your thoughts. Your thoughts depend upon your experiences. Your experiences depend upon what you so desire to accomplish. So you have this symbiotic relationship that's going on in your life. They have finally discovered, oh, gee, something I've been talking about a long time ago, that your brain is energy, it's electrical energy. It's like a magnet. Wow. Something I've been talking about for 40 years. I started when I was 5, by the way. And so, in doing that, think about that. If it's magnetic, it's electrical. You have created your life. Hey, if you think your life is yucky, don't think that way. Because once your thinking goes that way, you know that expression, stinking thinking? Well, think about that. What is it in your life that you desire? Notice my words. You desire to achieve. Think about that. Think about the canvas that you're the artist. How are you going to create your life today and tomorrow and tomorrow? And I want you to imagine that in this beautiful canvas that you have this gigantic eraser. And that as you're going along, you can change your direction in life. And if you don't think you have, take a look at what you've accomplished. Sometimes you went backward, you went forward, you went left, you went right, you went up, you went down, you went all over the place. But that's part of the experience of life. That's how you learn and grow. That's what gives you wisdom and strength. And you know, as a young person, you thought you had all the answers when you're in school. And you went to college. If you went to college, you had all the answers. Or maybe in a vocation, you had all the answers. And you went, gee, you know, if I can only make $70,000 or $80,000 a year, it'd be great. Then you have a couple of kids, you got to put them in college. Oh, that's not a lot of money, is it? Nope. Especially these days, where we're going through hyperinflation. And that's my opinion, hyperinflation. But more importantly, what are you going to create in your life to bring joy and happiness? Because there's a universal law, and I've said it many times, what you think you create, what you create, you experience. What if you change your stinking thinking to something like, I'm going to create my perfect life and joy and happiness? Now, I know some of you are saying, oh, well, what is my perfect life? Well, your definition is different than mine, than to use, or somebody else. It's really different. But the most important thing is you said that you desire your perfect life. Well, who would know better than your perfect life? Your ego? Heck no. You know who would better? Your soul would know your perfect life. So, you know that expression, let go and let God? Let go, because you already set up the roadmap. And I know Tia would like to say something, but so go ahead, Tia.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Um, you say that we can have, you've already taught me that we can create our own perfect life. And my soul knows what that is. So how do I connect with my soul to find out? Because I have so many things I'm interested in, I get sidetracked.
Well, that's a very good question. So the first thing you need to understand, your soul knows what's perfect for you. Then the ego goes, well, maybe I should do this. Well, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should. Did I make the right decision, or did I make the right decision? You buy a car, you worry about buyer's remorse. You rent an apartment or buy a house, you worried about buyer's remorse. All this stuff. Most important thing we need to do in your life is to get out of your own way. The doors will open up exactly what your soul urges for you to accomplish at this time. So maybe I know you're a wonderful photographer, an award winning one. So maybe the next 5 or 7 years, you're doing photography. Then maybe 7 or 8 years from now, you're working with abused women and children. Maybe 10 years from now or 12 years from now, you're an artist or you're doing something else. Life is a series of experiences. The more experiences you are, the more enlightened you are, the more knowledge you are, the more you have healed, and the more you're able to pass on this knowledge to others. And that's so important. There are, in my discussions with the true source and talking about all the things that are going on, one of the expressions where you can't talk to people that are foolish. So don't argue with them. I would say you can't talk to stupid people, but really, foolish is kinder with a true source. So sometimes you're talking to a wall and people don't want to move. What do? You might get frustrated or angry, because I used to do that. Now I go, okay, that's perfect for you. And it is perfect for them. So they may learn the hard way or whatever, but it's not my choice. The only choices in life you have is you, your choice how you want to live it. Then you can share your experiences to others, and it's up to them. So when I was growing up. So what I have to do it because I said so. Oh boy. So you jumped and you go, okay, I did it. And our parents didn't communicate very well, but their experience was based on their parents, who was based on their parents, and so on. And many things we wanted to change in our lives. And I know in bringing up my children, I didn't say because I said so. I would sit down and explain it to them. And if they still didn't want to do it, I would say, well, you have a choice and whatever you wish to do, but you have to pay the price for your choice. So I remember when my daughter was about 6, 7 years old, she was angry and she wanted to do this. And we said, well, you really can't go to this party because we have another family affair and they want to see you and it's really important. I'm leaving the house. I said, okay. So she packed up her little backpack and I marched out of the house and I picked up the phone, put my finger on the phone button, said, hello, Seattle, whatever it was, Boston Times, want to place a room for rent. And she was walking out. And then she walked up, went up the hill. I watched her, kept my eye on her, didn't say a word. She came back in and said she was sorry and gave her a big hug. But the most important thing is she learned something. And she learned that she cannot control and manipulate me, but understood when I gave her a reason, whatever is going on and why we made the decision. So the next time something came up, I'd patiently listen to her or my son, but explain the reason why and wherefores. And that's how we pass on knowledge to others. But we all have to live with rules. You have a rule to live with. You can't steal, you can't kill people, so on and so forth. You know what the rules are. All right. So it's our job to share these rules, but also to share our experiences. So in sharing our experiences, they may or may not want to go along with us, but this is all planting seeds. So 10, 20 years from now, they're going to go, yep, I remember this. When I was with my son last November, he said, you know, Dad, when you had businesses, I had to work in your business. I want money. You said, well, you want money? Work in the business. You know what? You won't have any money. It's your choice. You know, I'm not forcing you. And he said, I learned a lot. I learned the value of the dollar, and I learned hard work. And that's what I'm doing with my 3 children now. You want money? You're welcome to work in the business. You don't want to? It's cool, but don't ask me for money. So my children never lack from anything. The children of today, of course, things are much more expensive, and they have a lot of toys or electronic equipment or whatever. But the most important thing for us to realize is that they are creating their life, and we are to share that knowledge as they're creating their life. And even if they don't accept it, don't get angry unless it's really dangerous, and let them figure it out, but you pass on the word. The most important point that I wish to express to you is that if you are engaged with anyone, meaning a conversation, this is your life. Share your experiences with others. Don't elongate it for hours and be, I did this, how magnificent. Many times when I'm on my path, I share my path. I share the humor. I share the trials and tribulations. And then they go, wow, you've had a great life, or you've had a challenging life. I said, yeah, but so did you, maybe in a different way. So don't think I'm any more special than you are. We're both the same. We just took a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. Important for you to realize that. But getting back to your life now you're at that campus. Now I share this information because what are you going to paint on your canvas? What direction are you going to go to? And one of the key words in all manifestation is the word perfect. Why perfect? Because it's everything your soul desires. I know that people, when they're manifesting or they're talking about what they desire, they have a laundry list. I call it a toilet paper roll full of all the things they want. Toilet paper has 500 or 1,000 sheets, so you got all these notes. Like, wonderful. Why are you doing it? Because you don't trust, you don't believe, you don't accept that you're the sole creator of your life. I remember one time I bought a used car and listed this had to be perfect, that had to be perfect, this had to be perfect, right? And I forgot to mention the battery. 3 days later, the battery died. Juice source said, "How about the perfect car? Don't enumerate what it has, everything that has to be perfect." Well, other than that, I put over 150,000 miles on the car. I think because the speedometer turned over at 100,000, it may have had 350,000 miles on it. Didn't need a drop of oil. It just ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. I manifested that car. You manifested your life. You manifested the trials and tribulations of your life. You manifested the direction you're taking in life. You manifested all those things. So stop and say, I take responsibility for my life, but I now take the responsibility to search and be open to what my soul urge. What is my soul urge? What brings me joy and happiness? So the next question, what does my soul want? Does it want this? Does it want that? Well, I don't know. Should I do this? Should I do that? And the most important thing I want to share with you, to be out of control is to be in control. Well, Michael, that's an oxymoron. You're right. When you're out of control, it means doors open up. You have choices. But if you say my way or the highway, you have blinders and you can only go this way, which can end up in a lake, in a snowstorm, or in a ditch, or frustration. When you're open to the different opportunities and you go, man, it feels close, but it's not really right. Something better is coming. And what are you manifesting? Something better. No one is locked into any life unless they choose to be locked into it. No one is unhappy or depressed unless they choose to be unhappy and depressed. And a lot of people say, well, I can't do that. I'm just a victim. Yep, you're right. You're right. I would say that. Henry Ford says, whether you think you can do a thing or whether you think you can't do a thing, you're right. You ever think about that? Every argument you have that's negative or a block, you're right. You're right. I remember some of my clients, I was telling about some places I shared for them to go because they're looking for money, how they can make any money and more money with maybe 7 or 8 hours a week work, maybe on their day off, and they have 2 or 3 days off. 2 years later, have you done it? No, no, I'm going to do it. Okay. Okay, well, whenever you're ready, I'll do it. That's what I tell them. Then they keep complaining about money. Well, I opened the door for them. That's really easy. It's a semi gold mine because others have done it. It's not going on the internet, by the way. It's another thing that you can do and have fun and bring joy. Nope. They'd rather just sit there and be in their pity and just complain. Well, what happens is you get turned off by people like that. And you go, okay. Then you don't want to hang around them because what they do, they drag you down and you don't need to be dragged down. So the other message that I wish for you that it's your life is that you should not choose people around you that are like-minded, not gossipers, that are positive. Maybe they have a different business, maybe they have a different vocation, but they're positive. That's the true key to all your success. So I know we're running down on a little bit of time, and I'd like to all of you to just think about your life. There's a blank canvas, and what's the big picture? Be happy, joyous, healthy, prosperous, abundance. You can list all those things, but don't refine it because then you will have blinders and you're not open to all the opportunities. So I thank you. So we want to talk to you about a few things. And one of them I desire to talk to you about is every Tuesday evening from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's called the Soul Awakening. Well, what is that? Well, that's all about asking spiritual questions. And then I deliver about a 10 or 12 minute little message. That message is audio. There are 286 or 7 to you. And,
287 at least.
and they have beautiful pictures with some wonderful motivational messages from the true source. Pictures, as I said, are taken by T.U., who's an award-winning photographer. Her pictures are great. There's a little bit of a message for you, and you get the joy of listening to me drone on with a message. But seriously, I don't think it's droning on. It's a message to empower you, and it's from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. as I said, Tuesday night, and that's on freeconferencecall.com. Or you most likely you can call this number on your phone. We're not on the internet, so you can wear your pajamas or whatever and not shave if you're guys or women not have your hair done, and you can call this number.
Okay, the number is 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125446 pound.
I'll give it one more time. It's 202-926-1059, and the code, Michael?
125446 pound. I love doing that. And I encourage all of you to spread the word. The more the merrier, because lots of miracles happen when we're on this call in. Now, we have what I call the replays, and those are the 10 or 12 minute messages. And they go from number 3 to 287. So, what are they? Don't worry what it is. Just say, I don't know what number. When you call in the telephone number, they'll give you a choice. What number would you like to listen to? So, say 92 or 127. You don't know what it is, but you know what? Everybody that does this, that's just what I need to hear, Michael. Your soul is guiding you. Remember that. So to access that information, would you share that number?
Sure. It's 434-300-4170, and the code, Michael?
125446 pound. One more time, please.
Sure. 434-300-4170, and the code?
125446 pound. I encourage all of you to do this. When you're just stuck in traffic, you're down, you're depressed, play it. Now, on the second Saturday of every month at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. We have what we call the mass consciousness healing. When you call in, we talk for 2 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes, just chat. And then we go into silence meditation. And sometime around 10:58, we come back out of meditation and we play a little beautiful music. This is very dear to my heart. It's so important because part of my goal in life is to change the mass consciousness on this planet to unconditional loving, allowing, and non-judgmentalness, to reconnect with God, the true source. It's so important for all of us. Because if you see what's happening on the planet now, and if you knew what's yet to come, you would appreciate this. Not only will you send healing to every living thing, Mother Earth is a living entity, by the way, the animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom, but also to those you love as well as yourself. It's so important that you do this. It's a guided meditation, and it'll be beautiful and be a wonderful experience. So I would ask you to share this. To access this, it's the same number as what I call is that I do on Tuesday evenings, which is Soul Awakening, and just give that number one more time.
202-926-1059. And the code, Michael?
125446 pound. So it's the same as the words of wisdom on Tuesday evening. One more thing I'd like to share with you, and that is, please go to YouTube, Dr. Michael B. Gross, and as you go to Dr. Michael B. Gross, push the button subscribe and share this. Share this because it's not only all those 10-minute messages, but all these wonderful podcasts, as I call it, the messages that Tiu and I do together, because it's awfully important that we wake up this planet. My goal is to get 1% of the population to awaken, and then we can be the power and the force that turns this beautiful planet into a loving, caring, figurative Garden of Eden. So please join us. And I want to offer all of you a complimentary consultation. The information to you is put on the chat. You can take me up on it if you've never had a consultation. Please call me, leave me a message, be patient, and I'll get back to you. So is there anything else we need to add?
Yes, there is, Michael. We have to show the world this. This is Dr. Michael Gross's second edition of the Spiritual Primer. It recently came out. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that everybody has a copy of this, because if it wasn't for this book and this gentleman right next to me, I wouldn't be here doing these Facebook Lives, and that book that he's holding would not even be in existence. I am so grateful that he has totally helped me create my new life, and he continues to keep me moving in that positively perfect direction. That if you've never, ever, ever gotten your hands on this, definitely get a hold of Michael or me, and I will make sure you get one. Signed copy, okay? We can get signed copies to you if you connect right with us.
Thank you. And I also want to talk about this book Q has written, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. It's a journey that a beautiful woman took that was trials and tribulations, and came out whole. It's a very inspirational book. It's a positive book. It's great reading, and I wanted to share this with you. The reason we're talking about our books is that we're not really in the business to sell books. We are not even in business. We're doing the work of the true source to awaken your soul, to empower you, and strongly would suggest purchasing these books. So we want to thank you very much. We ask you to join us next week. And remember, on Tuesdays, what I call Soul Awakening, this podcast we're doing, the replays, and I want all of you to know that from this point forward, you are in control of your life. Not your family, friends, husband, wife, mothers, fathers. You are. Make those decisions that empower you. Everyone, have a great week. Namaste. We love you. Take care, everyone.